Well, morning everybody. I'm going to town to get some stuff. Working on some projects. So, just coming into beautiful Virginia, Minnesota. New highway, got the cut here. This has been, I don't know, is it 3 summers now this has been here? Here, this is the highest bridge in the state of Minnesota from what's below it to the deck height here. And they moved the highway so United Tack could keep mining. This is the Richelieu pit right here. It's old U.S. steel pit that was run, I think, until 1985. It was a natural ore pit, not taconite. But in order for the United Tack to keep coming across Highway 53 here, they had to reroute this and put that bridge in across that way. So I don't know if you, probably not the best shot, but that's United's pit over there. They're working their way to the northeast toward the Richelieu pit there, mining taconite underneath. So yeah, I'm just coming into Virginia here. We gotta go a couple of different places and we'll see what we get here for our projects. And just figured we'd do a little miscellaneous video today. We'll see what kind of things we get going. So I'll give you a view of the you see where we got fields, but that's the high ground. As wet as that black muck is, there's they pasture some horses over there. 10 years ago, this was almost a field. There's even a couple old round bales left there. See that? All that willow brush turned brown and died last summer, but it's growing back out of the bottom. So yeah, we pretty much live in a swamp. Up here, there's actually a little sand drift that, it's still a swamp. The water table's right up there in the sand, but sandy ground instead of the clay that we're on, which is not good in a dry year because the water just runs right through it. So not much grows on this end. I cut a couple of fields for a guy on this end. Oh, I haven't cut them now for 5 or 6 years, but that was on sand. On a wet year, they'd grow a little bit to hay, and on a bad year, they would pretty much do nothing. They don't look too healthy right now, but the new owner hasn't really done anything with them. So I just drive through the swamp here. Now here, we'll just keep my video will get too long anyway, but we'll just continue down the road. Yeah, this piney tree area here, this is a little bit of sand. Just kind of the way it is. And there's some big jack pines up here. Well, there's one dying right there, but let's get them. These jack pines over here on the left, that's kind of like the end of the sand ground, and it starts turning back into clay. This tamarack swamp here, black spruce and tamarack, it just pretty much back to black muck. A couple of red pine plantations in there. We're back on clay again by the time you get to here. So here, I'll give Cody the camera out the window and we can do a slow drive-by on the sorghum. There's some places it's waist high, some places it's ankle high. It's all over the place. In the places it's ankle high, tighter, or I don't want to say tighter ground, heavier ground, holding the water. There, Cody, hold the camera out the window. Do a slow sort. Every time it rains on me, 2 inches, inch and a half, it yellows up a little bit. The ground's just totally saturated. This end here ain't bad. It's pretty decently separated. There you go. There's some sorghum. And we'll come back when we get our this machine out of the barn. All right, this is going to be the most convoluted video going nowhere that I've ever made. But that's all right. We got all kinds of different stuff here, so. We got some stuff in town and we came back. Had a little lunch at Arby's while we were there. Oh yeah, 66 Impala. That's Cody's 66 Impala. I think Cody's going in a small engine business here. Ring compressors, ring tools, valve hones, ridge reamer, spring compressors. Got all kinds of stuff there. But well, since I showed you this 66 Impala, this was closer to our house than Cody's Oliver. Guy just on the other side of the pasture had it, so he's working on it. The side of the car I showed you is the better side. This side is much sun faded. Yeah, it got rust. It's needs some floor pan work, a little brake work. I don't know. He likes it, so there it is. Yeah, take that off of there and fire this thing for the viewing public. Oh, one of the guys at work that watches my videos says Cody never says nothing, so we want him to say something. So, Cody, what do you have in here?
350.
350. Well, that was a lot of talking right there. He's got a numbers matching 327 that this originally had. But this is what's in it, and it's pretty decent, so. That is not impressive for the viewing public. There you go, throttle idle. Maybe the Quadrajet needs a little tuning. But he stuck that distributor on there. Vacuum chamber for the brakes. Didn't have power brakes. Needs some brake work out on the axles yet, but he'll get to that. Little bit at a time. All right, thought I'd show you that. But what we really came here for, there it is. It's nice to have a few small squares in the barn. We are working on shelf removal in that barn. We've been gutting things in there, and yeah, you know how those projects are. You make a bigger mess before you get it cleaned up. So it's been a ton of fun. But 273 New Holland Hayliner. Custom bigger tire on there. Made for Palo swamp ground. So this baler, here, I'll do this for, if you look all the way down there to where that tree line is, 1.5 miles away, you drive to that tree line and take a left. The first place on the right is where this baler came from. So it was pretty decent deal. I think somebody started waxing it because that'll rub off. But he had it in a shed, nice shed, stayed dry. Jack sunk in the dirt a little bit, dirt floor. This paint ain't bad. You can scrub this off. He had a rubberized tarp that he had on here, and it kind of, I don't know, bled, transferred a little bit, but put a little scrubbing on this thing, wouldn't be too bad. Now, I found on the internet a list of serial numbers for these things, starting at 71, and this is earlier than that, so I don't know. I'm a 14 and 24T guy. I don't know. I am rather familiar with 273s. I had a neighbor that we made a lot of hay with when I was in high school who had a 273. Pretty much the same as this from what I remember. So this baler hasn't made a bale in a few years. Fella I bought it from is 90 now. Doesn't get around like he used to, but when I first moved here, I actually did buy a few small squares from the guy. I didn't have anything yet that couldn't make enough hay for the cows that we imported back up here with us when we moved up here. So, but mechanically it's pretty good. The knotters are decent. When he put it away, it was making hay bales. I know that for a fact. It hasn't had a whole lot of trouble with it. I mean, it's an old baler, but it worked pretty good. Tell you a little story here. Knotter drive shear pin right here. When I was the neighbor's baler when I was a kid, his 273, we were baling in some canary grass, a field that he picked up. I don't know how many flywheel shear pins we broke that day, but it was raked clumpy and it was tough going. But anyway, at some point we got something didn't go right, and he had the needles up and a knotter shear pin went, and we got everything untangled and reset. And well, he didn't have any knotter drive shear pins, so we pried a 16-penny nail out of a cedar fence post that was holding an old ceramic fence insulator on, and we stuck it through there and bent it over with a piece of pliers, or a pair of pliers. And for as long as I baled hay with him, that 16-penny nail was in here bent over, and when the knotter would trip, it just went around and flopped, and then ends hung back down there, and I don't know if he would have ever needed it again if that nail would have sheared. I kind of doubt it, but never gave us any trouble from there. So it came with one bale of twine, so we got a little twine to start out on. We've run it. It's pretty smooth. Everything's went through and greased it and ran it. Plunger knife could probably use a little work. It's got a few nicks and pieces out of it, but if it quits raining where I get a chance to bale anything, and I don't even know what I'm going to bale anymore. After that 2 inches the other day, I'm not going to get in that Timothy in the pasture back there. Steer got himself loose in that last night, which no big deal. He's still inside the main fence. He just walked right over to one wire I had there, so. But I thought I'd show you that. I was thinking about all the square baling stories that I could tell. I'm gonna sit down in front of the camera someday and tell funny stories. No one was seriously injured.